to Watch Mojo. And today, we're counting down our picks for the most egregious cases of musical déjà vu.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that's live.
Number 30, The Hollies, The Air That I Breathe versus Radiohead, Creep.
If I could make a wish, I think I'd pass.
Written by Albert Hammond and Mike Hazelwood, this emotional pop rock ballad changed hands a number of times before becoming a hit for these legends of the British invasion. Peaking at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the year of its release, it proved to be a subconscious influence on Radiohead frontman Thom Yorke.
When you were before, couldn't look you in the eye.
Upon noticing the similarity to The Air That I Breathe, rhythm guitarist Ed O'Brien pointed it out. In response, Yorke grabbed a melody directly from the original for a new middle 8 section. Radiohead's honesty about having ripped the band off was met with respect by songwriters Hammond and Hazelwood, who in turn took a smaller share of the royalties they were owed.
Can't think of anything I need.
Number 29, K.D. Lang, Constant Craving versus the Rolling Stones' Anybody Seen My Baby.
Even through the darkest days.
As you'll see a little later on in our list, the Rolling Stones are no strangers to taking others to task for ripping off their music. However, in a surprise twist, the Legends of Rock accidentally plagiarized a then-rising star, none other than Canadian singer K.D. Lang. Anybody Seen My Baby, a single off the 1997 album Bridges to Babylon, bore a striking resemblance to Lang's Constant Craving.
Anybody seen
Keith Richards claimed to have been completely unaware of Lang's original before his daughter, Angela, pointed out the similarity ahead of his song's release. Seeking to preemptively avoid a tortured legal battle, the Stones gave Lang and her co-writer Ben Mink songwriting credits. Probably a good move. Number 28, Killing Joke, 80s versus Nirvana, Come As You Are. This hugely influential post-punk group has left an impression on several of your favorite artists like Metallica, Nine Inch Nails, and, crucially, Nirvana. After composing Come As You Are for their instant classic album Nevermind, Cobain was reportedly hesitant to release it as a single, citing its obvious similarities to 80s.
Come as you are, as you were, as I want you to be.
Nevertheless, Gold Mountain Records went ahead with Come As You Are over In Bloom, prompting an irate response from the band. Said guitarist Geordie Walker, "We were very pissed off about that, but it's obvious to everyone. We had 2 separate musicologist reports saying it was." However, Killing Joke ultimately opted not to pursue legal action over the resemblance.
80s. Oh, I'm living in the 80s. 80s.
Number 27, Yusuf, Cat Stevens, Father and Son versus The Flaming Lips, Fight Test.
It's not time to make a change. Just relax, take it easy.
Not unlike the case of Nirvana and Killing Joke, Flaming Lips frontman Wayne Coyne, as well as producer Dave Fridman, admitted to realizing a similarity to Father and Son while recording the spaced-out Fight Test. Sony, ATV, and EMI publishers for Stevens and the Lips, respectively, agreed to a profit-splitting arrangement that would be royalties divided up 75-25 in Stevens' favor.
I thought I was smart, I thought I was right, I thought it better not to fight, I thought it was a virtue.
Coyne said later in an interview with The Guardian that he did regret not contacting Stevens' record company and asking their opinion. "We could easily have changed the melody, but we didn't. I am really sorry that Cat Stevens thinks I'm purposefully plagiarizing his work. I am ashamed."
How can I try to explain? When I do, he turns away again.
Number 26. Gordon Lightfoot, If You Could Read My Mind, versus Whitney Houston, Greatest Love of All.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow.
Originally commissioned for the Muhammad Ali biopic The Greatest, hence the title, Greatest Love of All was originally performed by jazz fusion guitarist George Benson before Whitney Houston brought it to another level in 1986. Her version of the song spent 3 weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100 in the year of its release. However, the following year, legal trouble reared its head.
And I will never be set free as long as I'm a ghost that you can't see.
Canadian folk legend Gordon Lightfoot filed a lawsuit against Greatest Love songwriter Michael Masser, claiming that he had stolen as many as 24 bars of music from Lightfoot's song If You Could Read My Mind. Lightfoot eventually retracted the suit to avoid antagonizing Houston, and an out-of-court settlement was accompanied by a public apology from Masser.
If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe.
Number 25. Madonna, Express Yourself, versus Lady Gaga, Born This Way.
Don't go for second best, baby. Put your love to the test.
Throughout the early years of Lady Gaga's career, she was often plagued by accusations that she was tearing whole pages out of Madonna's playbook. The lead single from Gaga's album of the same name, music reviewers were quick to point out that several elements of Born This Way very clearly resembled Express Yourself.
I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause I make no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way.
Said a frustrated Gaga in response. If you put the songs next to each other, side by side, the only similarities are the chord progression. It's the same one that has been in disco music for the last 50 years.
There ain't no other way, baby. I was born this way, baby. I was born this way.
Even Madonna herself expressed her approval of Born This Way, citing her initial reaction to hearing it as a wonderful way to redo her song.
So if you want it right now, make him show you how. Express what he's got, oh baby, ready or not.
Number 24. Jake Holmes, Dazed and Confused, versus Led Zeppelin, Dazed and Confused.
Been dazed and confused so long it's not true. I wanted a woman for you.
Sure, Led Zeppelin is one of the greatest, most influential rock and heavy metal bands of all time. We don't think anyone will argue with that. Now, with that having been said, it's also hard to argue with the fact that they were notorious takers, often accused of ripping off American blues songs and giving little to no credit to the original artists.
Well, I'm dazed and confused. Is it stay, is it go?
One such case was obscure folk singer Jake Holmes, whose original composition Dazed and Confused was given a facelift by Led Zeppelin, rearranged significantly by Jimmy Page, their guitarist and producer. Holmes sued Page in 2010 for copyright infringement, but the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice in 2012 after the band agreed to an out-of-court settlement.
I want you again. Yes, I do.
Number 23. Desiree, Kissing You, versus Beyonce, Still in Love, Kissing You. Turns out that there are some things that the modern-day queen of the music industry can't quite get away with. British R&B singer Desiree's tender 1997 ballad, Kissing You, was originally recorded for the soundtrack of director Baz Luhrmann's Shakespeare adaptation, Romeo and Juliet. Calling Kissing You a beautiful ballad, Queen Bey performed an updated reimagining called Still in Love for her hit 2006 album, B-Day. Royalty Network, Desiree's publisher, quickly sued, accusing Beyonce and Sony BMG of breaching their original sampling agreements. The case was dismissed with prejudice in 2007 after Sony pulled copies of B-Day which featured Still in Love. It was replaced with If on all further pressings.
If you let him take me from you, baby.
Number 22, Chuck Berry, You Can't Catch Me versus The Beatles, Come Together.
Yeah, come on, flat top. He was moving up with me, then come waving goodbye at a little old souped-up jitty. I put my...
The more you read about cases of, well, let's call it inspired borrowing, the more you wonder, did these guys actually think that no one would notice? This dispute between rock pioneer Berry and the Fab Four is one of those songs that really begs the question.
Here come old flat top, he come grooving up slowly. Got juju eyeball, he won.
Scooping up several lyrics from You Can't Catch Me wasn't enough. The Lennon-McCartney composition was reportedly even musically based on the Berry tune. John Lennon, sued by publisher Morris Levy, agreed to make up for it by recording a series of covers of Levy-owned songs, including You Can't Catch Me, which appeared on the 1975 record Rock and Roll.
Here come a flat top, he was grooving up with me, then come waving goodbye, little.
Number 21, The Rolling Stones, The Last Time versus The Verve, Bittersweet Symphony.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that's life.
Bitter courtroom battles don't always end up in hurt feelings and million-dollar payouts. Sometimes, like in the case of the Verve's Richard Ashcroft, they have a happy ending. For what became the band's signature song, lead singer Ashcroft sampled the Andrew Oldham Orchestra cover of this relatively obscure Stones tune. Under the threat of legal action from the rock gods, the Verve granted Mick Jagger and Keith Richards sole songwriting credits. Eventually, in 2019, Ashcroft personally appealed to the two, who conceded that the previously struck deal had been overly harsh. Ashcroft's royalties and songwriting credits were restored, and he remarked that I never had a personal beef with the Stones. They've always been the greatest rock and roll band in the world.
No change, I can change, I can change, I can change. But I'm here in my mode, I am here.
Number 20, Rick James, Super Freak versus MC Hammer, You Can't Touch This.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
The third single from Stanley MC Hammer Burrell's third album, You Can't Touch This, became one of the biggest ever hip-hop hits to date, reaching number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and winning 2 Grammys. At the peak of his success, though, his career was dealt a heavy blow. Hammer had never asked Rick James, the funk provocateur whose song Super Freak was prominently sampled on You Can't Touch This, for permission to borrow part of the song.
She's a very kinky girl, the kind you don't take home to mother.
Upon learning about the sampling, James sued Hammer for copyright infringement. The rapper was legally forced to give James a songwriting credit, reportedly earning the latter millions in royalties over the years.
Music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. What am I to rhyme and to hype?
Number 19, Bobby Caldwell, Carry On versus Lil Nas X, Carry On.
Carry on.
Not long before he turned the music industry on its head with the genre-defying smash Old Town Road, the artist-born Montero Lamar Hill dropped Carry On, drawing heavily from blue-eyed soul singer Bobby Caldwell's 1982 hit of the same name. Record label The Music Force sued Hill in the wake of Old Town Road's viral success.
Carry on.
Though it may be hard to understand it.
The Music Force demanded $25 million in restitution to alleviate confusion in the marketplace and punitive damages. The outcome of that lawsuit is unclear as of 2025, with Caldwell's 2023 death further complicating matters. Hill doesn't appear to harbor any hard feelings, though. In 2022, the rapper posted Caldwell's What You Won't Do for Love to his Instagram, saying that Caldwell sued the hell out of me, but he got down on this.
Philosophy, the one thing you should do. Carry on.
Though it may be hard to understand it.
Number 18. The Eley Brothers, Love is a Wonderful Thing versus Michael Bolton, Love is a Wonderful Thing.
Love is a wonderful thing. I said love is a wonderful thing.
Would you believe the legal fight over this song lasted nearly 10 agonizing years? The Eley Brothers, Love is a Wonderful Thing, a mostly forgotten soul ditty from the early 60s, had been all but lost to history before hitmaker Bolton put his spin on it in 1991.
Love is a wonderful thing. Make you smile through the pouring rain.
The problem? Said lead singer Ronald Isley. I was upset because the credits weren't on there, so we got in touch with his people, and then he went into the, "Oh, I didn't know you all had a song like this." A 1994 Los Angeles jury ruled in Isley's favor, resulting in a multi-million-dollar payoff for them.
You know you're making it up. Throw my hands up. Throw my hands up.
Number 17. Sleigh Bells, Infinity Guitars versus Demi Lovato, Stars.
Walking in, we causing a frenzy. Walking in, we causing a.
You likely haven't heard of indie sensations Sleigh Bells, and that's a genuine shame. Coming to prominence in the early 2010s, the group made waves in the world of independent music for their unique, influential blend of punishing metal and bubblegum pop. Sleigh Bells first brought the similarities to public attention in a November 2015 tweet to Lovato that read, "Flattered you guys sampled Infinity Guitars and Riot Rhythm for Stars, but we were not contacted. Gotta clear those." While the song's producers denied any wrongdoing and claimed that the singer had been uninvolved with its production, Lovato settled with Sleigh Bells out of court for an undisclosed amount in 2017. Number 16. Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me versus One Direction, Midnight Memories. Unlike some of the other entries in our video today, the boys in One Direction were mercifully spared years of protracted legal proceedings by 80s glam metal icons Def Leppard. The chorus to Midnight Memories strongly evokes the band's raunchy jam, Pour Some Sugar on Me, to the point that Def Leppard had gone so far as to consult with their legal team over the resemblance. In the end, though, the rockers chose to let it be, with guitarist Vivian Campbell sharing that the chords are 1-4-5. Those are the blues. You don't get more basic than that. I think what's more reminiscent of the Leopard thing is the production, the sound, the vocals, the reverb, and the way it was assembled. Number 15. The Rubenews, I Want to Be Your Boyfriend versus Avril Lavigne, Girlfriend. The Canadian queen of pop punk's bratty sing-along anthem instantly captured the hearts and ears of listeners everywhere upon its release, eventually becoming Lavigne's first #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. However, it wasn't all said and done for her just yet. In July 2007, a few months after the song's debut, members of the 70s power pop outfit the Rubenews filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against Lavigne. They claimed that Girlfriend had jacked the chorus to their song I Want to Be Your Boyfriend. While musicologists were divided as to whether or not there had been any unintentional theft, Lavigne and the Rubenews settled out of courts, and the band released a statement exonerating her. Number 14. Huey Lewis and the News, I Want a New Drug versus Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters.
There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
Parker's theme to the hit comedy is likely a childhood favorite for many of our viewers, but for pop rock mainstay Huey Lewis, it's anything but. Lewis had reportedly been offered the opportunity to craft the Ghostbusters theme, but turned it down. So the filmmakers turned to Parker, who was sued by Lewis not long after the movie's release.
I want a new drug, one that won't make me sick, one that won't make me crash my car.
They settled out of court for an undisclosed amount, but Parker later got his revenge when Lewis violated a confidentiality agreement, leading to a significant payday for the former. Maybe old Huey could have used a prescription for a new drug. Number 13. The Beatles, Obla Di Obla Da versus The Offspring, Why Don't You Get a Job?
She sits on her ass, he works his hands to the bone to give her money every payday.
For a song that's a battle cry against laziness, it's amusing and more than a little ironic that almost everything about it is cribbed from an earlier tune. While Obla Di Obla Da has often been derided as one of the Beatles' worst songs, with some calling it Paul McCartney at his most self-indulgent, its bouncy, ska-influenced melody and arrangement worked perfectly for these irreverent California pop punks.
There's one that's a barrel in the marketplace. Molly is the singer in the band.
Released at the height of the 90s ska punk craze, Why Don't You Get a Job was never acknowledged by the surviving members of the Beatles.
I won't pay ya, no way. Nah, why don't you get a job?
Band expert Alan Weiner mused that each of the milestone rock artists, you can hear their influence in the people who have been successful who came after them.
Oh, Maddie, life goes on. Life goes on.
Number 12. Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down versus Sam Smith, Stay With Me.
Oh, won't you stay with me?
This treacly, mushy, gushy ballad became Smith's signature song in 2014, elevating the British singer to superstar status and reaching as high as number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Unfortunately for Smith, things went free-falling after legendary singer-songwriter Tom Petty heard more than a passing similarity to his 1989 hit, I Won't Back Down, which Smith claimed to have been unfamiliar with.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
Despite that song's defiant title, no legal proceedings ensued between the two parties, with Petty and co-writer Jeff Lynne agreeing to be credited. Said Petty, "All my years of songwriting have shown me these things can happen. Sam's people were very understanding of our predicament, and we easily came to an agreement."
'Cause you're all I need.
Number 11. The Police, Every Breath You Take versus Puff Daddy and Faith Evans featuring 112, I'll Be Missing You.
I know you're still living your life after death.
Every move I make.
Who knew that something beautiful could come out of a copyright infringement lawsuit? Long before being revealed as one of the music industry's greatest villains, Sean Puff Daddy Combs made a name for himself as a rapper-producer. Specifically, his trademark style of throwing a drum track over a sample of a vintage hit drew the ire of many a plundered musician.
Every breath you take, and every move you make.
Combs' tribute to the slain Notorious B.I.G. was based on an unauthorized sample of the Police's Every Breath You Take, and the band's lead singer Sting successfully sued Combs and his Bad Boy Records for 100% of the song's profits. Eventually, the two made up, and Sting joined a performance of the song at the 1997 MTV Video Music Awards.
Every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching.
Number 10. Pat Benitar, Shadows of the Night versus Rascal Flatts, No Rains. It's one thing to draw inspiration, but Rascal Flatts may have taken it a step too far in this case. Their 2007 song No Rains is quite reminiscent of Benitar's 80s hit Shadows of the Night, particularly in its distinctive introductory notes.
We're running with the shadows of the night.
In 2008, songwriter D.L. Byron, who penned Benitar's anthem, filed a lawsuit accusing the band of plagiarizing his work.
No
While Rascal Flatts representatives claimed the similarities were coincidental, the parallels are hard to ignore. At least the country band didn't try to replicate Benitar's World War II-inspired music video. That would have been pretty suspicious. Number 9. The New Seekers' I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing in Perfect Harmony versus Oasis' Shaker Maker. The Devil May Care British band has enjoyed massive success, but their early work wasn't without controversy. Oasis's 1994 track Shaker Maker was accused of stealing from the New Seekers' 1971 Sunshine Pop hit, famously tied to a Coca-Cola ad. While Noel Gallagher, the band's guitarist, claimed the song was more of an homage than a ripoff, the legal system didn't see it that way. The New Seekers filed a lawsuit, and Oasis was forced to pay a hefty $500,000 settlement for the alleged infringement. Despite Gallagher's laid-back attitude about the situation, the payout served as a stark reminder that even paying tribute can come with a hefty price tag. Number 8. Joe Satriani, If I Could Fly versus Coldplay, Viva La Vida. Coldplay's Grammy-winning hit may have topped the charts, but it also struck a sour chord with several artists.
I used to rule the world, seas would rise when I gave the word.
Guitar virtuoso Joe Satriani accused the band of lifting significant portions of his instrumental, If I Could Fly. Around the same time, indie band Creaky Boards alleged Coldplay copied their song, The Songs I Didn't Write, claiming Chris Martin attended a concert where they performed it.
And it would have made you cry. What would have fallen from your eyes?
Even Cat Stevens, now known as Yusuf Islam, chimed in, suggesting the track borrowed from his song, Foreigner Suite.
The moment you walked inside my door, I knew that I need not look no more.
In spite of all the drama, Martin admitted to learning from the experience, explaining, "If everyone's trying to take away our best song, then we'd better write 25 better ones."
Never wrote this word, but that was when I ruled the world.
Number 7. Article Sound System, Live Your Life versus Dua Lipa's Levitating.
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I can take you for a ride.
Levitating might have been one of the biggest hits of 2020, but it didn't ascend the charts without raising some questions. In 2022, Florida reggae band Article Sound System filed a lawsuit against Lipa, alleging that her chart-topping track copied their 2017 song, Live Your Life.
All day, all night, party till sunrise now.
According to the band, the similarities in the song's choruses were too striking to be coincidental. They argued that Lipa or her team must have heard their track before creating hers. The case brought attention to the thin line between inspiration and imitation, leaving the otherwise uplifting bop feeling a little less stellar for certain listeners. Number 6. The Chiffons' He's So Fine versus George Harrison, My Sweet Lord. This Beatles solo single earned its place in music history, but not without a price.
My sweet Lord, my Lord.
Harrison was accused of copying the Chiffons' 1962 tune with noticeable parallels in melody and chord progression.
He's so fine, oh yeah, gotta be mine, oh yeah.
In 1976, the case was brought before a judge. Although Harrison insisted that he actually drew inspiration from the Christian hymn Oh Happy Day, the judge ruled that he had subconsciously plagiarized the earlier song, resulting in a significant courtroom drama.
I really wanna see you. Really wanna be with you.
While his spiritual anthem remains beloved, its legacy will forever be intertwined with a legal battle that some have described as ludicrously protracted. Number 5. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, On the Dark Side, versus Arcade Fire, Keep the Car Running. Arcade Fire's 2007 work showcases their signature blend of indie rock energy and anthemic drive. However, some listeners can't help but notice its uncanny resemblance to John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band's 1983 hit featured in the movie Eddie and the Cruisers. While no lawsuit was ever filed, the comparison persists, with many fans and critics debating whether it was an homage or an unintentional echo of the 80s classic. Either way, Arcade Fire's track proves that even in the indie scene, it's hard to escape the shadow of the past. Number 4. Paramore, Misery Business versus Olivia Rodrigo, Good For You. The similarities between Rodrigo's raging single and Paramore's iconic track didn't go unnoticed. Listen closely to the two high-energy pop-punk tunes, particularly their choruses, and you'll understand why. Both songs tread the line between upbeat and edgy. That said, Rodrigo has been transparent about Paramore's influence on her own songwriting, with Hayley Williams and Josh Farrow even receiving writing credits for Good For You. This isn't the first time Rodrigo has faced accusations of copying other artists, but the singer, along with many supporters, including Maroon 5's Adam Levine, has defended this gray area in music, emphasizing that creativity often stems from artists inspiring one another. Number 3. Tracy Chapman, Baby Can I Hold You versus Nicki Minaj featuring Nas, Sorry. This rap legend found herself in hot water with this track, which interpolated Chapman's classic yearning folk rock ballad.
Sorry, it's all that you can say.
The controversy arose when it was alleged Minaj had used the song without securing the proper rights. Despite Minaj's attempts to make peace, Chapman ended up taking her to court. The track was eventually leaked online, further fueling the issue.
Sorry, it's all that you can say.
In 2020, Chapman won the lawsuit and was awarded $450,000 in damages.
But you can say, baby.
While Minaj might have intended Sorry as a tribute, it ultimately became a cautionary tale about respecting intellectual property in the music industry. Number 2. Marvin Gaye, Gotta Give It Up versus Robin Thicke featuring T.I. and Pharrell Williams, Blurred Lines. In one of the most infamous copyright battles ever, Blurred Lines faced intense scrutiny for its resemblance to Marvin Gaye's hit, Gotta Give It Up. Critics pointed to the similar groove, bass line, and overall vibe of the songs. While Thicke and Williams claimed that they were merely inspired by Gaye's style, the court disagreed, ruling in favor of Gaye's estate in 2015. The verdict resulted in a $5 million payout and a share of the song's royalties. The case sparked widespread debate about how to distinguish inspiration from infringement, leaving the already contentious song forever linked to this controversial legacy.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Queen and David Bowie, Under Pressure versus Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. You've definitely heard both songs, and you've likely heard about the plagiarism case too.
Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly.
Released in 1990, Ice Ice Baby became a massive hit, but controversy erupted when listeners noticed its undeniable likeness to Queen's classic collaboration with David Bowie.
Pressure, pushing down on me, pressing down on you.
Initially, Vanilla Ice claimed the two bass lines were distinct, but this defense didn't hold water, or ice for that matter, and the issue was settled out of court, with songwriting credits and royalties being granted to the original artists.
I'm trying to get away before the jack is jacked. Police on the scene, you know what I mean?
Ice Ice Baby may have solidified Vanilla Ice's place in pop culture, but it also serves as a warning not to borrow without asking, unless you've got millions of dollars to spare.
Ice, ice, baby,
Which of these copycats surprised you the most? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.
Yo, man, let's get out of here. Word to your mother.